No, South Africa did not ban a movie. There was no government censorship. There wasn't a state instruction that you cannot watch Melania, which is going to be streamed, by the way, anyway. But if you look at the reaction we have seen on social media, strangely enough, by the type of men that aren't giving we watch documentaries, let alone documentaries about women, you'd think that we are sliding into authoritarian collapse. And I think that's what the story is. It's the gap between what actually happened and the reaction to this.
Spilling the tea, essay, light on the way. Spilling the tea, essay, truth won't fade away.
Welcome to Spilling the TSA. I have been away when it comes to my long form content for quite a while now. My family has experienced a personal tragedy, but I want to say thank you for those of you that have stuck around, been patient, the kindness you've shown, and the quiet support. I will be posting more often now. I'm aiming to do at least 3 videos a week. Hopefully, in some cases, I'll do a little bit more. I'll also do some short form content that I do on Upscroll and also on TikTok. And when things arise, I'll be committed to put it out here and have the discussion. I want us now to look at what happened when it comes to the Melania movie. And as per usual, we provide truth, context, and evidence, not noise. So let's get into it. A private distributor, Filmfinity, decided not to screen Melania. And that is the entire factual basis of this so-called scandal in South Africa. So the decision was widely reported and it was accurately reported. The reason was in the current climate. Now, that could mean anything. However, for our outrage farmers and our grievance addicted, the current climate means that this private entity decided not to stream it because of the relationship between the USA and South Africa. Well, if a private entity decided that that's the case, that's their decision. It's very strange for me that the so-called free market guys have got a problem with a private entity making a business decision and are losing their shit about it. You can't be pushing free markets and then attacking a private company when you don't get your own way. You can't watch Melania, which you probably wouldn't have even paid to go and watch anyway. Very important thing to highlight here, these same people are dead quiet when journalists are attacked, and they're screaming free speech and censorship now. They are also part of attacking journalists on a regular basis. I mean, I recently saw how racist and absolutely vile they were to Heidi Giacos and around her relationship, because she is not dating the master race, so-called master race. So yes, it's very strange for me. They're also silent on when small films and the film industry, people in the film industry do not get funding. You don't hear a word from that group of people. But all of a sudden they are film buffs and they wanted to go and watch this documentary, which a private entity decided they're not going to show. So this wasn't organic concern or anything. It was performance. Okay, and you must remember that performance is monetized, and we've got to get to a stage where we need to realize it is helping people's pockets to keep you angry and fury driven and scared, because grievance addiction you feed it continuously, and there are certain platforms where you can get it on a daily basis and you are willing to pay your super chat or whatever for it because, everyone's out to get you. So, but if we really look at what this film actually was, it is a political puff piece that was paid for by a billionaire who, I also want to say, is people get it wrong when they say that, billionaires are loyal to Trump, and that is why Jeff Bezos, who is the chairman of Amazon, paid $75 million for this puff piece. Billionaires don't do loyalty. This was about paying for access. So he paid $40 million for the rights, and then $35 million went to marketing it, and it is reported that $28 million went into the presidential couple's coffers. No surprises there. Trump has enriched himself and his family extensively since he has taken office. By the way, same people that are always worried about corruption, dead quiet on the fact that they are supporting a highly corrupt president in the United States. But let's move on. So again, this was paying for leverage, paying for access, which billionaires do. So we are not talking about this small little silent voice, an indie movie that voice was being taken away. We're talking about a very well-funded political puff piece. That's what we're talking about. Now, I'm not naive. I understand that businesses make decisions around profit and loss, and that Filmfinity probably made that decision based on that. However, I do feel that when these business decisions are made, that it should be about ethics as well, but hey, capitalism. So, but I also think that that is a conversation that we should be having. For instance, the most interesting thing for me about this entire debacle is the director that the First Lady actually hand-picked, and that is Brett Ratner. Now, Brett Ratner, if you're not sure on who he is, he was named several times by a number of actresses during the Me Too movement in 2017, where they accused him of sexual harassment and sexual assault. He then became radioactive in Hollywood, and he moved to Israel, where he focused on other projects outside studios. And not only that, just remember, as the movie was released, so too was 3 million pages of the Epstein files also released, and Brett Ratner appears there prominently. So if this decision was only based on profits and loss, which it probably was, we don't know what current climate means, but I think that the ethics and the values issue should have also featured in that particular discussion. Why would you want to be associated with someone like that? And why on earth would the First Lady handpick this particular director? Not only that, more importantly, is that it is reported that 2/3 of the movie crew have asked not to be credited on the movie that they worked on. And this matters because why would you choose not to have your names there? I mean, this is Hollywood. Credits matter, but because there were a number of issues that they raised, but they have decided their careers would be better off not being associated to this particular project. So yes, they're self-censoring for the pearl-clutching crowd. A fun, interesting thing. And also it shows you the opposite of our grievance-addicted, not strategic approach, is what was done by a Reddit group. Now, there is a Reddit group called Boycott United States. So instead of having meltdowns on social media, what they did is they approached the author of a book called Melania, Devour of Men. And it is also sold on Amazon. And what they did is encourage people to engage with it, download it. The author actually provided the book to them for free. So you can download the book for free on Amazon. And it was to game the algorithm. And what started happening, it actually worked, is that when you search Melania, you'll get the documentary, but also you'll get the free book. And I think that is so much better than the Outrage performance we've actually seen. It's strategic and it's intelligent. So instead of having total meltdowns, they decided they're not having this political puff piece out there. They actually want to make sure that there is something else as an option. And I think it's quite smart. Now, just remember that this book, I don't think it is a literary genius or piece or anything like that, but it was just to game the algorithm. So to just close off on this particular issue is this was not shaped by some state censorship or persecution. It wasn't even shaped by Filmfinity that made the decision. What it was shaped by is a group of outrage farmers who actually monetize people's fury. That's it. And we need to actually be a little bit more proactive when it comes to where we focus our attention, but also who is benefiting from keeping us angry all the time and afraid all the time. By the way, when that movie can be streamed, I doubt that the group that was having these meltdowns are actually going to watch it anyway. Thank you for joining me at Spilling the Tea, and I hope to see you soon.
Spilling the tea, essay, light on the way. Spilling the tea, essay, truth